All right, good evening, everybody. This is Chief Meteorologist Chris Allred live in the Storm Team 3 Weather Center. So we are streaming live now on WSAV.com and also on Facebook. And please post your comments on Facebook if you have any questions. I have Ben Singer here with me in the studio that is going to go over some of those questions, and I will try to get to them all if possible. But what we're going to do first is go through all of the forecast details of Tropical Storm Elsa, so you know what to expect and also to be prepared for what could change because we still have time to go before the storm system actually even makes landfall. So, all right, so let's get to it. This is the very latest on our Storm Team 3 Viper radar, and right there is the center of Tropical Storm Elsa. When we got the latest update at 5 o'clock, it was about 150 miles away from Tampa. But Elsa is tracking in the north at about 10 miles per hour. And the next update, by the way, coming from the National Hurricane Center is going to be at 8 o'clock. So all the active weather mainly is happening on the eastern side of the storm system, and some of those rain bands are moving onshore to parts of Florida. We've had some tornado warnings, we've had gusty winds, and a lot of that tropical moisture has even made it to us today. If you were outside, you could tell it was so sticky and humid. But one of the things about Elsa, it is expected to get stronger tonight, possibly becoming a hurricane. Right now it has winds of 70 miles per hour. All it has to do is get up to 74, and it's considered a hurricane, a Category 1 storm. So you have all this tropical moisture right here on the eastern side of the storm system, but there's also some dry air. And that is what could limit it from getting much stronger than a weaker Category 1 storm. So that's one thing to think about before it could make landfall. The National Hurricane Center has issued all of the hurricane watches and warnings. So you have that up and down the coast of Florida. This zone right here in red, which goes from Tampa all the way up into the Big Bend area, that's where hurricane warning is in effect. Now farther up to the north, we are looking at the coastal Empire and Low Country where tropical storm watches and warnings have been issued. Wayne County, so that Jessup, that is you, highlighted in orange. You are under a tropical storm warning. A warning means that we are expecting tropical storm conditions to happen when Elsa gets here. So that means tomorrow into Thursday morning. We also have a tropical storm watch that's in effect for all of the counties highlighted in yellow. This is all of our coastal counties from Beaufort, Jasper, Chatham, Bryan, Liberty, McIntosh, and Long. Long, you're the only inland county so far that's been included in the tropical storm watch. A watch means that we could see tropical storm conditions. So the time frame for you is the same. It is tomorrow into Thursday morning. But let's talk about a couple of things here. First of all, the tropical storm watches and warnings are issued based on winds. What kind of winds could you see? Tropical storm winds are anything from 39 up to 73 miles per hour. So a warning means that we are expecting winds to be between 39 to 73 miles per hour tomorrow into Thursday morning possibly. A watch means that we could see winds between 39 to 73 miles per hour. These watches and warnings are not based on rain. It's not based on the threat of isolated tornadoes. So if you are not included farther inland, that doesn't mean that you're exempt from the impacts of this storm system. The other thing, too, is that more counties could be added as the night goes on and even into tomorrow morning. So you want to check back in with the latest forecast trend. Now, already the tropical moisture has been surging into the area today, and we've already started to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially what's happening over to the west, farther inland, south of I-16. Some heavy rain has really been coming down over parts of Tattnall County, south of Vidalia. So that's the type of tropical moisture that's feeding from this storm system that far out in advance. But let's talk about the track now. It is moving to the north at 10 miles per hour. So on this current track, it is expected to go up the coast here of Florida, making landfall right along the Big Bend area, moving through the coastal Empire and Low Country, and then it moves out on Thursday as it races off to the northeast. When we zoom in, if it becomes a hurricane, it's a little bit stronger than what it was expected in the previous runs. It will approach as a stronger tropical storm right over parts of Florida as it moves into the coastal Empire and Low Country. And while it's over us, it could maintain its tropical storm strength before it moves out. With this being known, we are expecting at least some impact from the storm system. The question is, How much impact will we see? Right now, weather models are in better agreement of where the storm system is going to go because we're closer out to when the event is going to happen. So look at this. Every single line represents a different model, and the majority think that the center of the storm system is going to go right to the west of Savannah, so mainly areas west of I-95. It could change. Some weather models have it right along the coast. There's even one that takes it offshore. So that's not out of the question. We could see changes happen later tonight into tomorrow, but that's looking less likely. But here's where it gets to be a little complicated. We're going to take a look at two different models. We have the track down a little bit better, but the timing models don't agree on that, and they don't agree on the strength of the storm system. The first model we're looking at is the American model. This is going to take the storm system up the coast. It's not looking all that impressive. It makes landfall right along the Big Bend area at around 11 o'clock tomorrow, at about 11 a.m. Then the storm system makes its way into the coastal Empire and Low Country, and see how the rain really starts to die down. It doesn't look nearly as impressive as before. Well, if this turns out to be true, it's weaker, and it's going to approach late afternoon, early evening hours for our most southern counties. Then that is going to push north of I-16 later tomorrow night after dinner, and then it doesn't move out until about 5 o'clock in the morning. That's the time frame for the GFS, the American model. Now breaking it down into two other aspects. How much rain could we see from this storm system? This is the American model. It is predicting that most areas are going to pick up between 1 to 3 inches of rain, with isolated amounts up to 4. Okay, that's a lower end right now. As far as wind gust, we're going to put this into motion. If the storm system approaches tomorrow evening, right before dinner for our southern counties, it's predicting that wind gusts could get up to about 40 to 45 miles per hour. Same thing as it crosses I-16. I think the strongest one I see right there is 39 miles per hour for Hilton Head, and then it's going to move on out. So the winds are not that impressive. Okay, so that's the American model. Now we're going to take a look here at the European model, and it's a little bit stronger, and the timing is different. So here's the storm system tracking up the coast of Florida, making landfall about the same spot in the Big Bend area. But look at how much stronger it appears to be. It has more rain to it. It approaches not until late tomorrow night, so it's also slower. Now remember, the American model had all the active weather moving in at about 5 p.m. This one slows it down. Look at the time, 11:30 tomorrow night. Then it has the heavier rain showers moving north of I-16 by 4 o'clock in the morning, and then it doesn't completely move out until around lunchtime on Thursday. So it's much slower, and it has a lot more moisture, and it's stronger. It's producing a lot more rain. And let me show you how much more rain. Putting this into motion, it's predicting that some of us could pick up as much as 6 to 7 inches of rain. That's this model. And the wind gusts. Now let's look at that. The wind gusts expected to be on the later side because it's a slower model. It's, slowing it down. Look at how the wind gusts could get up to about 60 miles per hour in Wayne County. Remember, Wayne County is under tropical storm warning. That's late tomorrow night. This is around 10 p.m., where again, some of the stronger winds happen right along I-16, even Rincon trying to show a wind gust of 60. And then the storm system moves out later on Thursday. So you have two different theories going on. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what the National Hurricane Center is expecting we could see. And they are saying that we are looking at widespread rainfall totals of 2 to 5 inches, where isolated amounts could get between 5 to 8. Wind gust, 40 to 50, but there could be some up closer to around 55. There's a threat of isolated tornadoes, and with all the rain that could fall, we could see some flash flooding. So taking those two models into account, what I really want to stress to everybody is that we are leaning more toward the American model, which is the weaker one that could drop less rain. The winds aren't as strong, but these things, they can change, and they do. So we have another big update coming at 11 p.m. And then, of course, we'll have more updates tomorrow morning, because it's possible this thing may not even move in until late tomorrow. So now we're going to talk about some questions. I know I was talking for a lot.
You answered some of them. One of the most relevant questions is about whether bridges may close, and if so, when.
Okay, I don't have any call on when the bridges are closed. That's, of course, going to be your city officials making that call. But that's going to be the deciding factor on how strong the winds are going to be. And right now, we're leaning toward about 40 to 50 to 55 miles per hour. If that gets amped up it's definitely possible that we could see some bridges closed tomorrow. That's why, if I were you, tomorrow be prepared for hazardous driving conditions. If you don't have to go out, don't. But also remember this, you may wake up tomorrow morning and think, well, Chris is wrong. Remember, we may not see this storm system until later in the day. So you may get most of your day done, work and everything, and then the impacts happen later after dinner. It could get pushed back.
What about the threat of tornadoes or water spouts?
Okay, there is definitely a threat of water spouts and isolated tornadoes, and I've been asked that question a lot. That is going to be along the coast, obviously for water spouts, but there is a threat of isolated tornadoes for the entire area. So even though you may not be included in any of the tropical storm warnings or watches, you still could see some of those isolated tornadoes.
When will it be completely gone in any of the models?
Okay, one model has it moving out of the area by Thursday morning. Another model doesn't have it moving out until later Thursday afternoon.
A lot of questions about just how much rainfall in various areas from Baxley, Effingham County, Metter,
and we kind of went over that, okay. And if you missed it, you can always go back and rewind. But we cover that a lot extensively. Is that about it? Okay, well, just stay safe and stay tuned. Like I said, we have another update coming at 8, but the really big update from the National Hurricane Center is going to be at 11 p.m. And of course, we will be live on WSAV News 3. And tomorrow morning, get up and check the latest, because we should have a better idea on the timeline and what we could see. Because the closer we get to it, the better data we get. It's going to be a much better improved forecast. Yes?
A few last-minute ones now.
Okay.
So are there any more storms brewing in the pipeline?
Oh, let's don't go there yet. We have the rest of the season to go. Let's focus on Elsa now. Woo!
And we had a question about St. Simons, because we do focus more on a little north of there. So
yes. Yes, so that whole area, that's where you are, right along the coast, where there are the tropical storm warnings in effect. It's McIntosh County north that it's only a watch right now, but south of McIntosh County, which would be St. Simons, you do have a warning, a tropical storm warning that's in effect. I think that's it. All right, well, thank you so much for spending your evening with me, and like I said, stay safe and check in for the very latest from Storm Team 3.